All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Break It Down show, installment in our Getting the Gig series. It is my pleasure, my deep honor to introduce this group that has a 35-plus year legacy in hip-hop. Not only longevity in hip-hop, but a very particular contribution to hip-hop that is not only unique, but puts a time stamp on many of our lives and what we were doing when these very important songs came out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting down in Sacramento, California at Harlow's with the Pharcyde.
What's happening, party people?
Man,
Party people.
Let me ask you, how does 35 years feel?
Oh my gosh. It feels crazy.
Achy.
It feels really
Achy.
achy. Real talk, it feels achy,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Imani is somebody's grandpa.
Hell yeah, sure is.
Man,
She grown.
yeah.
I could have been, but my pullout game was like precise.
Uh-huh. So, you know, if you go back to, let's say, the early 90s when you just started to swell, were there moments back then that you look upon now that you didn't quite appreciate as well as you do now that you're 35 years in?
Definitely. The whole experience.
The whole experience.
Yeah. Because coming into it, you coming in for your own reasons.
Yeah.
And then it was for me, the most interesting thing was seeing that it was a continuum. This thing that we had hopped into in 90
Yeah.
as just people trying to find their way and do something with the little bit of talent that they got. That was going on before us and it goes on after us. And so like seeing that, realizing that, because at the time you were like, you didn't care about anything except for the people you was trying to,
Yeah.
your people that inspired you, Big Daddy Kane and stuff. Okay. I didn't know how it's art. It's not just rap. It's so many different facets to like being a creative and you don't really appreciate it fully until you in hindsight.
Yeah, and a different appreciation now at this age, having been a creator, and then also having seen like the multitude. I mean, you guys have been around the world many times by now.
Yeah.
You get a different perspective on your art and everybody else's.
Yeah. I mean, even before coming in, so the bar was extremely high back before we got into, getting signed or what have you. You had Michael Jackson, you had Prince, you had Earth, Wind & Fire, you had all these super greats, and you just can't get into this shit,
Yeah.
And that was that was the singing side. You had Patti LaBelle, that was the singing side. Then when you got to the rap side, you did have the Big Daddy Kanes and the LL Cool J's and the KRS Ones. The bar was still very high.
Yeah.
So it's so fun. Like, so we treated it that way. The way that we practiced, the way that we performed, everything was like, we got to show and prove, we got to do our best. We always have to treat this thing like it's our first and our last show that we'll ever do.
Wow.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
That's how you got to fucking step to the stage and think about it, But at the same time, and have fun at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The culture. That's what it is.
Yeah,
the culture.
it's like once, it was a time where we did so many shows and we were like, yo, man, I'm fucking tired of doing fucking shows. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And then once we got out of the headspace,
I mean, 35 years. You got,
yeah. Once you start looking at it like,
Everybody
this
want
is
to be
more
successful.
this is bigger than us, and this is not just for us; it's for the crowd. Once I got into that headspace, I can do this shit
Everybody want to be
1,000
successful.
times over.
You don't think about it. You just be doing it.
Just be doing it.
And then you get chose.
Uh-huh.
Right? You can't choose to be successful.
Nah.
You can do everything you can and cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but the people choose you.
People choose.
And then the appreciation of people to choose us is like we're their people's champ, like they love us.
Uh-huh.
And like they love us. Right?
But the side of that though, there is a side of on our part is they love us, but then we got our job to do to maintain it.
Maintain the garden.
No, I'm saying it's been
But the
maintained.
choice
I'm
is-
saying 30 years later, the decision has been made. We've been chosen. And people bring their kids to the shows at this point. Like they decided this is what I like. This is what has moved my needle, and I want to like invite my kids to see if their needle gets moved. And that's the shit that fucks me
But how
up.
far
Like,
can we take it?
We do what we do, and the
Nah.
people follow. No, we build and they gonna come. We do. They like us. We do what we do.
Right.
Do you? We
Right.
love that you're not like them. We love that you're doing you, and you don't understand it because you can't. You never see your face.
Look, I feel like this is like
They see our face.
This is like Parliament. Because when I was younger and Parliament was happening, everybody wanted to take their folks to see the spaceship come down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they, Parliament to this day is still high level, high quality shit.
Yeah.
Now we definitely
They
in the
never
books.
let that shit down. They never let that shit down. It's always been to the sky, right? And so I feel like we're like kind of the same way. Like we have a
as far as your standard.
Well, we have a cult following.
Yeah.
If we stay in the groove, everybody gonna move.
Yeah.
If we overthink this shit and start thinking about what the fuck they want, or then we lose the whole frequency.
Yeah.
So like, to what Imani was saying, you just gotta stay in that motherfucking groove. Yes, you have been chosen, and at the same time, you still have to tend to the garden to make sure the quality's high.
Now you have an obligation.
It's like it's like going to your favorite burger place and you tell your friends.
Because how many times
day,
it was like I'm waiting on the album.
It's faulty that day.
It's fucked up that day. Like, goddamn, like maybe they cooked it a little bit different,
Man.
But you want to keep that shit.
Because the fans want more.
Okay.
The fans want, they want a new album. They want.
Okay, when you say the fans want more,
there's lots of different kinds of fans.
Right.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
So when I go to certain concerts, I put myself in their position. I don't want new shit all the time. Sometimes I want new shit. Sometimes I'm here to be in the moment.
All right. Okay. This is what about before we got to this point, and then the fans was like, when you guys are gonna get back on stage together?
Yeah.
Right.
There was some.
Because they hadn't seen it.
But that was effort on our part to make the shit happen.
Right.
Whatever it was that was standing in the way, the egos.
What was the event, or what had to melt away for you to get back together? Because man, we missed you for a while.
That's what I'm saying.
A while.
Here's how. So I'm gonna on a universal level, the universe separated us, separated boys to make them become men. So what I mean by that is
you each had an individual
I did
journey.
some shit solo. He did some shit solo.
Times changed.
Imani did some shit solo.
Internet came.
Look, and at that time, like I learned, like for me on my solo journey, I learned how to orchestrate. I played with a live band.
Okay.
We all got pulled away for whatever God reasons.
Yeah.
To learn whatever the fuck we needed to do. And then we came back together. But I'll tell you this. The energy of Pharcyde and the goddess of Pharcyde has always taken care of her children, which is us, individually, as well as bringing us back together to enjoy and celebrate where we are today, right now. And my fucking hats off to the energy. Like we were called to do this, man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and critique it.
The story of how it came together is something miraculous as well. When you think about all of the elements involved, we had a mentor who basically facilitated the studio for everybody to hone their craft and things like that. So it was a lot.
The perfect
It was
storm.
a village. It was a village.
For sure.
Definitely.
That's fantastic.
Shout out to GTI. Shout out to Shy or Jazzy Fat Nasties. These were the crews that we came up with, and we worked. All of us, all the groups worked fucking hard as fuck on this craft and the knowledge and everything that we know today that the people are seeing.
Okay.
Facts.
Let me ask you individually to address the differences that you came back together with. So in other words, talk about Imani and Trey and what happened when you got back together. How were they enhanced differently? What did you see that made you go, okay, all right, I see what you've been up to?
Nah, it was more the reverse. It was like, oh, that's that nigga. You remember it.
Okay.
You forget.
It brought you back.
It brings you back to how it all, where I was just saying the miraculousness of it all. Yeah. It's like, yo, man, these dudes just happen to, cross paths with this kind of like all of these weird talents that complement each other. Yeah.
But you locked up like you locked up before.
Yeah, to what Trey was saying, it's just like that's just something that's not necessarily in our, control. It just happened.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it makes it legendary.
Also, while he's standing here, shout out to Sasway, because he had a project that we jumped on together with him. Susway is Imani's cousin, and we got on a project with him. It's Imani, Fatlip, and Slim Kid Trey. Please look it up. You would love it.
It was a way to get us back in the studio together.
Yeah, so that exactly
You know
what
what
I
I
was talking about. This is a perfect example of one of the guys that was saying, "Man, y'all need to get this. Y'all need to come back and get back on stage."
I mean, like,
Sway, you don't have a mic on, but will you just walk around back and get your face here so everybody knows who the catalyst was to put everything back together?
Yeah.
Is that, there you go.
These are my brothers, man. Honestly, for me, like when I talk to my brothers, I was like, to me, this is just about the healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's about the music, but let's go on this healing journey because y'all are great. Y'all are great individually, but once we link back up and get this right, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like my mission's accomplished. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of why I was in the back. And, you know, you don't see me in the front all the time. I don't need to be in the front.
Motivator, constantly.
But so proud of these brothers and so proud that they're continuing the torch. We were just talking about it. This seed was planted 4 years ago. Just literally 4 years ago. So this catalyst, this energy, as far as this new configuration of the Pharcyde, me and Lip was just talking about it. What, May 2021?
Yeah, almost 5 years. Almost 5
you know
in the making. Almost 5. Like the, you know, trying to figure out how the reunion. Trying to work out the reunion. Took a minute. Took a while.
And I reached out to every part of
everybody.
I reached out to everybody. I reached out to Smooch. I reached out to Brown. So just because I know it's like, well, where's Brown at? Look, we reached out. We tried to talk. We tried to reconcile. And it's not even to like talk bad about nobody. It's just putting truth out there, putting receipts out there that attempts were made. And I still got love for my brothers. And I'm hoping that there is one day
in due
that
time
we can come back together and just really seal it up as a quad. You know what I'm saying? But until then, it's this Trinity right now.
And that said, the universe is the painter, the artist of everything that's going on right now. And when she wants to dip her paintbrush into that other color that's not present, she will do so. And until then, that's all the fuck we gotta say about that.
And
really,
and
like we're present for the.
It'll happen when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And no shade to nobody.
Right.
We are doing what the fuck bro.
Amen.
Life is this thing, and that we think we have forever.
Yeah.
And it's not
and
fucking
it's not.
true.
Yeah.
So you can be on your high horse and all these fucking things and shit, but joke's on you.
Yeah.
Joke's on fucking all of us that think in that way.
I don't want to interrupt, but what happened to your microphone?
It's right here.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right.
I'm ahead of the curve, my guy.
I gotta give Trey mic technique. Thank you, Sway.
All right, for sure.
Hey, and thank you.
Thank you, man.
Well, you was asking us each individual question.
Yeah.
My thing was, I just seen how lucky and blessed we are.
Yeah.
And that we left a void. And I was always reminded of the void that we left, and people were like hurt.
Oh, man.
And I felt like I was always looking for somebody else to help us. And I realized that we had to help ourselves. And that's kind of how it started. It was no music. It was just like a brotherhood, like he said, the healing. So we had been separated for almost as long as we had been together.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, let's start from scratch. And like learn each other and trust each other. Like, because when money is involved, sometimes God exits the room.
Yeah.
Right?
Things can get funny.
But when there's no money, you know that it's genuine. And so I didn't want to make no money. I wanted them to trust me and know that I'm not here for money. I can make money, but I love them and I need them. And for me to accomplish what I needed to do, I couldn't do it without them.
Man, that's beautiful. You know, the difference between Pharcyde music and everything else, pretty much, from an outsider's perspective, that was going on in Los Angeles in the early 90s. You know, your trajectory was so different. Your vulnerability in the music was so different. Your musicality was so different. You know, it was almost like you had, you were swimming upstream. Last night, of all things, we did this very same thing with Fishbone.
Oh, wow.
And it was a lot the same. I mean, we had to talk about how were you so different, and how did you allow yourself? Because in the midst of, you know, you're trying to succeed, And of course, you're being yourself, but you still are trying to succeed. And you see the other things around you that are succeeding, and you still decide, no, that's not me.
We kind of like the rap fishbone.
That's true. Absolutely, you're the hip hop fishbone, and their struggle to keep it together, their unity. Once they figured out that, hey man, all we could do is just love each other again, and so there's a lot of similarities, really.
We had a show with them.
Yeah,
in December.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No fishbone, no Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You're absolutely right. No
fishbone,
doubt.
no doubt.
Yeah.
It's a gang of
No
babies.
Jane's Addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we was babies of like Tribe Called Quest and Brand Nubian and
Right.
and
De La Soul, yeah.
the Jungle Brothers and
Yeah.
that and De La. Those are our guys and shit.
Yeah.
And so we made babies too,
Yeah.
right? So and our babies let us know like we here because of you.
Couldn't do it without you.
And so you see the appreciation. So you feel like you gotta man up and let go of the ego and whatever the bullshit is and just handle business.
Yeah. There is one musical moment that I have to ask you about. The ascending harmony in
Your Mama?
in Your Mama. Yeah. Whose idea was that?
Jay Swift? Was it Jay Swift?
No.
It might have been.
It was him and Jay Swift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the whole
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
Fatlip had it in his head.
Right.
And we
I
kind
think-
of was just like.
We used to come up with choruses
orchestrated.
first
Yeah.
for everything. So it's
I
like it was the
say.
chorus and that was the concept, and then and so that was the concept. Oh, we'll come up with a song we all talk about your mama, but Jay Swift was the true musician, pianist of the group.
Uh-huh.
So he was always coming, but
Right here, let's bust some barbershop quartet
yeah,
shit on them.
exactly.
Did
Yeah,
Jay Swift do the my dear, you do not know
we
me?
yeah
Yeah,
he
yeah.
did
It's always
he
a
did the
mu-
melody.
He's
Yeah.
musicality. Jay Swift was
Yeah.
he's the catalyst of the musicality
Yeah.
for us, and then like the watchdog on making sure we got our shit together. correct?
That you executed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no slouch. L.A.J., Jay Swift, they was always right there making sure we was making, some fun records, some hit records. And
Yeah.
melodically things was right, lyrically things was right. We hard on each other, man.
Yeah. You know what? I will say, not a question, but I want to pose this observation and then let you guys riff on it. The thing about the Pharcyde that we loved at that time was that LA seemed to be represented by gang culture and everything else like that. And then you, I think, reminded the rest of the world that in the midst of whatever else you're going through, hardships, and you still create humor. You still find your brothers. You still have, those connections that really mean something. And you still, have different kind of, you were funny.
Yeah.
Everybody looked at LA in the early 90s and it looked like colors to everybody else in the country.
Nah, but they didn't understand the culture. Gangsters are funny.
Right.
And we from the gang culture.
Yeah.
We just not gangsters, but we from the gang culture. We from LA.
Yeah.
Everybody's from a hood, and everybody knows the
But you
sex, and
expose the
everybody-
funny.
No, they're fun. Gangsters are funny. If you hang
Funny,
around
they're
gangsters,
Yeah.
gangsters are funny.
They just like no
Right?
filter.
So
Yeah.
if you're not from LA, you don't get the culture. So you don't get the whole thing. All you just see is just like the highlights.
The dramatization.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was a thing called bagging.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Mhm.
Bagging.
that
you-
connected
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody who rode a bus.
Yeah.
Anybody
you
who had
got-
to sit at the
You
bus
already
stop.
know, you
Yeah.
already know.
And it was either you was gonna get bagged on, or you was gonna
Kill or be
hold
killed.
your own.
But that was something that separated, like that even the playing field with gangsters.
Yeah.
When you bagging, like it's no guns, it's just bagging. So you can bag with gangsters.
That was how a non-shooter could survive in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're going to let him go because he's funny.
Yeah, it's a weird way to earn respect.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Well, but there was not enough of that, like in just the hip hop that was coming from LA, the West Coast.
Well, it's
'Cause
a
I mean,
business first.
Up here,
It was a business first, and
Yeah.
the people had to put their money and they had to invest in things that they thought could make money.
Mhm.
So they weren't caring about getting the culture together. They were worried about making money, and the byproduct, the culture was created.
yeah,
Right, that's kind of how it happened. But they didn't give a fuck. They still don't give a fuck.
yeah,
It's about money.
But it's waves too, right? Like somebody comes out of nowhere and then represents a whole faction of of a culture that nobody knew about. You know, before Slick Rick came out, we didn't know there was dudes in New York that had an accent from the UK. You know what I mean? So it's those were like Slick Rick, KMD.
Yeah.
You know, and of course De La Soul. It's like those. It's like it comes in waves. You know. So Pharcyde. There was a lot of gangster shit going on in LA, and then by the time we got to like '92, you know, it was
Public
time
Enemy and Digital Underground and
those
Fresh
influences.
Prince was out there making waves, so he opened a lot of Fresh Prince opened a gang of doors.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's a lighter side to rap, and then Digital Underground, and then we kind of came in that wave.
Okay. Who are in the hip hop community, the homeboys that you have made over, you know, like on the road, touring, whatever,
I mean,
that we wouldn't know about?
No, your homie Razkaz is like one of the OG's homies because he used to dance before he was a rapper. We all used to dance. Razkaz been around since day one.
Yeah.
Like before rap.
Okay.
Razkaz.
Yeah, Raz.
And then we know
the homie Sunspot, Living Legends.
Yep. Hyro, we know Hyro before they got
Cypress Hill.
before they got signed. We know Hyro before they got signed because we were trying to get signed at the same time, and we knew some of the same people, and we was gonna move to the Bay, and we just always run into them before they got signed.
Yeah.
Common. We knew
You come up here and celebrate Hyro Day?
Rashid used to come to our crib before he blew up and shit. And that's still the homie. Will.i.am used to dance with us.
Yeah.
Like this is day one. This is day one before rap. Rap. So our alliances with these dudes is like 30 years.
Yeah. Will.i.am too, growing up in East LA.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody brings a different, you know, just a different experience.
In the middle of that, he was created.
Yeah.
A rose from the concrete.
A rose from the concrete. And you can do a sock check on him to this day. So what about now when you look out at the crowds that come and see you? And like you said, people are bringing their kids. They're,
Which is amazing.
you know, and
amazing.
how much do you see the kids getting it? Because
What
sometimes,
you mean?
sometimes when you bring your kid, you're like, I
nah,
don't know if
nah.
you, are you really?
Nah,
Like
the
how
kids are getting it. Kids are getting
They're
it.
getting it.
The internet.
Yeah.
Kids like 90s music.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 90s, it's like...
Now, real recognize real.
Yeah.
Because
But
we was
also,
kids.
hip hop is fairly new.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, it's been around for now, you know,
As an art form,
50 something years. So it's like maybe like 1 or 2, 3 generations in, and then, you know, it's still...
The creators are
It
still
still
alive.
holds that interest,
Yeah.
The creators are still alive, yeah.
Right. But when we were kids, we got force-fed things on the radio, and then that eventually went away.
I like
Nah,
that.
we
Hold
didn't
on,
get
wait.
force
So
fed.
there's okay.
Our parents,
radio-
most of our shit came from our parents.
Wait,
Okay.
no,
So
that's
I feel
different.
you on the force. I feel
Yeah.
like the force fed shit on radio came a little bit later in time, and it was kind of disgusting.
But
right?
that still goes on too, right?
But
Yeah,
we used to have K-Day,
Uh-huh.
1580 K-Day and stuff like that, where we
College
we
radio
loved
stations.
listening to
Yeah.
the radio.
We had
It was-
K-Poo up
it was
there.
That's like the
feeding- it was
internet,
feeding us
though.
what we wanted to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
The internet,
we
you
discovered
can find what you
look,
need.
We
It's
discovered
there.
NWA without the radio,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you know, it's crazy how when things got like later in the game, where they were literally force feeding motherfuckers, like they wanted whatever band to pop off.
Yeah.
So they kept feeding that shit to you until it's like, okay, well I don't have nothing else to listen to. This is all the garbage that they fucking keep playing all goddamn day.
Yeah.
So we gotta accept it. And I don't like radio like that. I wish radio
Well, you're
wasn't
even
like
more
that. You know what I'm
thoughtful
saying?
about it, though, because most of the population doesn't even perceive that they're being force-fed. That's the only music they
That's
know.
not brand new though. That goes all the way back.
Right,
to
but what
the-
I'm saying is
I mean,
now,
that's
I
the
think with the
beginning of
internet,
that's the beginning of radio. That's
Okay.
how radio
Radio
started.
was better back in the day.
I mean, that's how radio started. They were selling products,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
but it was
whatever.
And the radio companies, the record companies were owned by the people that was making the records, and I mean, it's a hustle.
Yeah.
And it was mob shit. I mean, from the
Yep.
beginning.
Yep.
But there
And
was
then
a
nothing's
time. There was a
changed.
time where you listened to radio and shit like that, and we could all agree like that's a whack ass song.
Uh-huh.
And it was back in the day in hip hop,
Uh-huh.
you couldn't just come with some booty ass shit.
Right.
You just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, it's
You know what I'm
payola.
saying?
It's always been.
No, but I hear what you're saying,
You
though,
know-
because
you know what
not
the fuck
only
I'm
that, but
saying.
it's the environment where bagging is a way of life. If you bring something soft, it's going to get talked about.
Look, you know a whack song when you hear it.
Yeah.
But nowadays they take whack songs and like champion that shit Like, it's the move.
Wow.
Like, how will kids ever know good shit? Because they fucking just being force-fed trash.
Yeah.
The internet.
You know what I mean? Like, we can never get better.
Yeah.
At least in our era, we can get better because we knew that a motherfucker would say this shit is trash.
Yeah.
We came up in the era where you on stage rapping your shit and it's whack and they punch you off the stage.
They play Kendrick on the radio.
I've seen it.
We've seen it.
They play
multiple times.
They play Kendrick on the radio.
We've seen motherfuckers get socked off the stage.
I'm just saying, when I go to LA, all I hear is Kendrick on the radio.
Well, that's K-Day. K-Day. You know, K-Day's the original station that played hip hop.
I'm saying that a bad thing though. They force feed you Kendrick.
No, K-Day's the shit. You know, K-Day
hear dope shit on the
Yeah.
radio.
Yeah. They used to be AM. Now
Yeah.
yeah.
I was saying, what up here we had K-Poo.
It was AM
Yeah,
at first.
It was AM at first.
Because it was most of the college station, right? I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. Well, shit, K-Day was like a high school station, right? It was like
I mean, they had a high to Friday.
I think that was their biggest audience was high school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
look,
sure.
when I listen to K-Day, they had dope enough shit to me to pull out a fucking two radios and make sure I tape that shit. Pause mixing and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it kept you you were super engaged.
You wanted to do it. Like I would go from listening to the K-Day to taking a cardboard out in my driveway and breakdancing with my homies.
Yep.
Right after.
Yeah.
You were inspired. You were fucking inspired, man. You weren't force-fed the shit.
Yeah.
It was right there.
But, so, are there, like, stations that the younger kids who don't want to be force-fed, refuse to be force-fed, are tuned into?
Internet.
College radio, internet.
I'm not sure where those are, but there's a lot. It's a lot easier now to trade with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, than it was back
SoundCloud.
then. We did it back then, just like you said, right? You know, like taping right off of the radio.
You had LimeWire.
Yeah.
Now you got streaming. I mean,
Basically,
music
when
is
you're
there.
young, you're like, fuck the mainstream.
Right. Yeah.
When you're young.
Yeah.
Because it all looks corny to you and you can kind of see,
Nigga, we had Too Short, we had NWA, because we used to do dirt, right? And we wanted to play, what do we play?
They didn't play that on the radio.
We played
though.
Too Short, we played NWA.
Not on the radio.
What do we play?
Actually, they did. NWA made a radio version of all their songs.
They did, yeah.
I mean, eventually.
Eventually.
No, that's
But
from
first-
the beginning. That's how they did it. That's
I
how
think they had a
No,
song.
even in the
they had a song called "Something for the Radio" too.
Yeah.
No, something for the radio.
No, they had something for the radio, and they did all their shit. They took all the cuss words out and did all versions for the radio.
Fuck the radio, right?
Yeah.
Really?
But then they did a radio version for the radio, and they did all their songs because you'll be singing along with it.
All right,
and like,
let's just watch Straight Outta Compton again.
Yeah.
And we'll know where.
And we'll settle it.
We'll settle it.
But let me ask you about give me a highlight moment in the 35 years of the Pharcyde where each one of you give me a highlight moment where you look back and you think, oh man, that right there was when I realized that we were really doing something important.
Okay.
Oh, I
got
said
it?
this. Yeah, well, I said it on Big Boy shows when they was having a Rap City interview with Run DMC, and they were asking him about the artists on the West Coast, and Run was talking about everybody that was,
Yeah.
And then he said, but then he's like, yo, but them Pharcyde cats. So that getting a shout out for
Anointed.
Run. Yeah, anointed.
Yeah.
But also just
By Run.
going to the first time we went to New York. That was the first our promo run was in New York, and because all the labels were out there, and we were like all the distribution labels were out there, so we were out there a lot.
Yeah.
And so like the first couple of times, it was just unbelievable because these are people that you're used to seeing on BT and MTV,
Right.
And then now you like doing the shows
And
for
you're getting
opening
love
up for them. Yeah, a lot of love. We got a lot of love in New York in the early days. So that was, I think that for me that was like, damn, we actually made it, because those are the people who inspired you to do what you do, and now they're like coming up
Acknowledging
to
you. Yeah.
acknowledging you, but on like giving it up, like on some fan shit.
Oh, some serious shit. Yeah.
Like because in New York it's like, especially, I don't know if it's the same, but back then it was like they either loved you or hated you,
And let you know.
and let
And
you
let
know,
you know.
respectively.
Respectively,
Yeah.
we were the Jack the Rapper shooting dice with Willie D. And it felt like, damn, we behind the curtain. This
Wow.
for real. We was in the room just shooting dice with
Shooting dice with Willie D.
Yeah.
Lost 1500
But it was like, it was just like with the homies. It's like we was with Pac and we was with Uncle Luke, and we was with all these people, and they knew who we was, and we was just hanging out. And that was like, I don't know, in Atlanta somewhere like in 93 or something, 94, 93, 94.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn,
when Atlanta was on fire,
we really here.
Yeah.
Jack the Rapper, right?
Yeah, something like that. Like,
damn,
we really here. Damn, they know us. We doing it.
But
Trey, how about you?
So we were in the car. We were on tour. We were in the car in San Francisco, listening to KMEL, and it's like every 10 minutes you would hear Runnin.
Yeah.
And you could turn the radio station, you hear Runnin again. I was like, okay, I think it just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nonstop.
Oh man.
Nonstop.
I remember that because I drove an Odwalla juice truck.
Oh shit.
I used to drive this truck. Man, I had this juice route where I picked up my truck at like 4 in the morning, and I would go to grocery stores, load up their little refrigerator with it. So I was in the truck with the radio, and here comes Runnin again.
Right.
Here comes, yeah. So yeah, I mean, but
it felt like how you listen to Kendrick's They Not Like Us.
Uh-huh.
They Not Like Us.
Yeah.
And every time you turn the channel, it was Runnin.
it became a mantra.
And I was like, damn, this is exactly what it must feel like to be,
So what our time looking like? We got this show to go tonight.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, I mean, I'm not going to keep you any longer than when you want to, but I just want to make sure that I properly put as much love on you as I can for however much time.
Yeah.
Because man, your contribution was not only dope and not only enjoyed and loved, but it was so important. I mean, it was so important I'll give you my experience because I'm from Guam. And so I grew up in Vallejo, California, where, we didn't have a racial majority, but of course we had an artistic and cultural majority. Everybody loved black music. So I had to, for me, I couldn't just seek out what everybody else was loving. I had to try to find something that was a little more, that spoke to me a little differently. Yeah. And for me, there were two things: Fishbone and the Pharcyde.
Hey.
Okay.
So we got to make that show happen again.
I like that.
Man.
That shit got canceled. You want to know how?
How? How was that?
Man, Bootie Brown.
Come on.
Sometimes shit just happens.
We'll get it back there. Okay. Anything in closing?
Oh man, we like to
for the
thank all the
opportunity,
people, man.
Yeah.
Just thank y'all for just caring,
Everybody, man.
And hanging in there.
hanging in there, man. We still going.
I'll speak for the people hanging in there. You make it easy if you just get back together
Yeah.
and do it. We'll be here.
Yeah.
So I want to let everybody know that this is like a warm-up show. You got a couple one-offs that
a
you're
whole
doing,
run
and then a tour that starts in Chicago.
May
Yes, sir.
May 3rd.
Okay, and then May 3rd, starting in Chicago, and you're doing a full
All the way to
loop. You're going
DC.
everywhere?
Last show is in DC on
Okay.
the 25th of May.
Wow.
24th, something like that.
It's going to be a nice run.
Yeah, but for now, you're talking about here
West
in,
Coast.
in Sacramento.
West Coast, and then we go to the East Coast.
Yeah, but you got Portland,
San
Seattle.
Diego, Seattle.
Vancouver, San Diego, Arizona, Las Vegas.
Yeah. Okay. Come out and see the Pharcyde.
Yeah.
You know you're gonna love it.